Hey, what's going on, you Wailing Whale Lord? So, the Mega Gengar and the Mega Diancie decks have released, and that means the cards in them are available to play with on PTCG Live right now. Now, the cards won't be legal for tournament play. I'm sure some of you are curious about that until Phantasmal Flames becomes legal, and that won't be legal until, like, the weekend of November 28th, I believe. So you can't play with the cards in official tournaments for, like, another month, but products have released with the decks. Those decks contain cards, and when products release, they become available for play on PTCG Live immediately, so you can be playing with the new cards like Mega Gengar EX, Mega Diancie EX, and Grimsley, which is the only new card we are playing in this Hydreigon EX deck, but this deck is sick. So the main attacker is the Hydreigon EX, and yes, there's a lot to break down here. We don't play any Dino. We play 4 Zweilous and 4 Hydreigon EX, and that is it. That's because Grimsley says you can look at the top 7 cards of your deck. You may put a dark Pokemon you find there onto your bench, shuffle the other cards, and put them on the bottom of your deck. So it's a super powerful supporter, but it needs a lot of support to go with it to actually make use out of the Pokemon you get off Grimsley. In this deck specifically, we're looking to find Zweilous or Hydreigon EX and use its really, really powerful Obsidian attack. We can use Crashing Headbutt as well, but we're looking for an Obsidian attack for a Psychic, Dark, Metal, Colorless. It does 130 damage and 130 damage to 2 of our opponent's benched Pokemon. Oh, also, you can't use Grimsley during your first turn, whether you go first or second. So with this deck, you do want to choose first. Now, that attack's really cool from Hydreigon, but it takes a lot of energy, and that's where the Cinderace with the explosiveness ability comes into play. So we play a lot of Stage 2 Pokemon, but we play only one basic Pokemon, because you do have to play a basic Pokemon in a Pokemon deck to play the deck. You can't play a Pokemon deck without any basic Pokemon. So I do have one Fezandipiti in here as our only basic Pokemon. It could be a Dino, but honestly, the flip the script of the Fezandipiti does come up quite a bit with this deck, because our opponent is probably going to KO our Cinderace pretty quickly. The Cinderace here, 160 HP, explosiveness ability. If this Pokemon is in your hand when you're setting up to play, you may put it face down in the active spot, but you don't have to. And that's actually a really cool thing about something like the Cinderace card. We've seen cards like this in the past that have been decent from time to time. Some of you maybe played when Greninja Break was a card, and you maybe remember Talonflame specifically. But if you draw into a hand that has a Cinderace but no Fezandipiti, and you don't like it, it's just not a very good hand, you can choose to mulligan that hand and draw a fresh 7 cards, which hopefully has a Cinderace and some better cards to go with it, and then you can keep that hand, put Cinderace as your active Pokemon, and start play from there. It has the Turbo Flare attack for a single colorless energy. It does 50 damage, and then search your deck for up to 3 basic energy cards and attach them to your bench Pokemon in any way you like. So that's how we set up our Hydreigon EX. So you choose first with the deck, attach to Cinderace and pass. And then on turn 2, you look to play Grimsley to then get Hydreigon or Zweilous in play, and that's why I do play the 4 Zweilous in here alongside the 4 Hydreigon, because we just want to increase our odds of getting energy onto something that is Hydreigon or could become Hydreigon. So if we get the Zweilous, that's fine. Next turn we evolve into Hydreigon. If we get the Hydreigon, well, then it's a Hydreigon. And then we use the Turbo Flare to accelerate a Metal, Dark, and a Psychic Energy onto our Hydreigon to set up for an Obsidian, or maybe a Crushing Headbutt, but probably an Obsidian on that following turn. So we play 4 Cinderace, 4 Hydreigon, but no basic, 1 Fezandipiti, the 4 Grimsley, but we're not only using Grimsley. Ideally, we want to Grimsley on like the first 2 turns, or the next 2 turns of the game past our first turn. We want to go like Grimsley, get a Hydreigon, set it up with Cinderace, attach to it for turn, and then next turn Grimsley again, and start to attach to and build up a second Hydreigon, ideally. But then from there, we want to be a little disruptive maybe, so we got 4 Iono, or we just need to find other key cards to pull up powerful plays, so we got 4 Arven in here as well. We also have some Boss's Orders, got 2 of those, 2 Counter Catcher, another big card for Arven, and then we play a lot of item cards to help us find Grimsley and use Grimsley more effectively. We have 4 Pokégear, which I'm sure some of you have seen and played with before, but then we have 4 Roto-Stick, which I'm sure some of you have seen, maybe don't know what it does. A lot of you probably don't know what this card does, and no one's ever played this card before because it's a bad card when you have Pokégear in the format, but it looks at the top 4 cards of your deck, and you may reveal any number of supporter cards you find there and put them into your hand, shuffle the other cards back into your deck. So this does 2 things. It increases our odds of finding Grimsley, but it also helps us take other cards out of our deck that aren't Hydreigon or Zweilous, so when we use our Grimsley, we increase our odds of actually finding the Hydreigon. And then finally, we have the Deduction Kit. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck. I've actually played with this card the last 2 formats. I mean, it's like effectively a new format with these new card releases. The last 2 formats, I've played a deck with Deduction Kit in it. It's interesting. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck, and then you may put them back in any order, or shuffle them and put them on the bottom of your deck. So there's a couple ways you can use this. You can use Deduction Kit to look for a Grimsley. If there's not a Grimsley there, you put those 3 cards on the bottom of your deck, and then you play Pokégear looking at the next 7 cards, which increases your odds of finding a Grimsley or any other supporter you might want to find with Pokégear or the Roto-Stick. On top of that, though, if we have a Grimsley, we can then play the Deduction Kit to look at the top 3 cards of the deck, and if we see Zweilous, or if Zweilous isn't good enough and we want to like increase our odds of getting a Hydreigon, then we can shuffle those 3 cards to the bottom of the deck if there's not a Hydreigon in them, and then use Grimsley after Deduction Kit to then look at the next 7 cards. So it effectively lets us look at like 10 cards is the way to think about it. We Deduction Kit first. If there's a Hydreigon there, we leave it on top, we Grimsley into it, we set it up. If there's not a Zweilous or Hydreigon on the top 3, or if we want a Hydreigon, even if there is a Zweilous there, we can take those 3 cards and put them on the bottom of the deck, and now we can't interact with those cards anymore, and then Grimsley sees the next 7. So it helps us dig through our deck a little bit more aggressively. Mention the counter catchers. I do have an Ultra Ball in here, so we can Arven for Ultra Ball to find Fez, or potentially the Hydreigon. That is also why I played the Tera Orb. We don't have a ton of draw power in this deck. We don't see a lot of cards, so using Ultra Ball can be a little costly. So I have 1 Tera Orb in here, which can just find us our Hydreigon to evolve onto our Zweilous, if that's what we found initially. 1 switch in here. I actually just threw this in here just because I needed a card to throw it in there. I was like, well, we have no other mobility. And it's actually come up quite a bit, specifically against Monkey Dory and its Mind Bend attack confusing us. We can switch back into our Cinderace, which has free retreat if they haven't KO'd it, or into the Fezandipiti, which only has 1 retreat, and then we can retreat back into our Hydreigon and hit them with another Obsidian. So the switch is actually way more impactful than I thought it would be. I do have 1 boxed order in here. This is for on turns where we go second, and on our first turn, instead of playing Arven to find a different item card to help set us up for our Grimsley on the next turn, we can actually get boxed order, and then we can search our deck for up to 2 item cards, reveal them, put them into our hand, and then our turn ends, but there's nothing else for us to do on our turn anyways, unless you wanted to attack with Cinderace and maybe put some damage in play, take a knockout on something like a Badoo, or to actually load up energy on our Fezandipiti. That play has come up before where you just want to attack with the Turbo Flame, put 3 energy on Fezandipiti, then next turn, use the Grimsley, find the Hydreigon, and then Cinderace load up the Hydreigon. Because on the first turn going second, you can't actually use Grimsley. You just can't use Grimsley on your first turn. So Box Order like increases our odds of pulling off the Grimsley on the following turn. So we can Arven turn 1, find Box Order, use Box Order, get like a Pokégear and a Deduction Kit, or a Deduction Kit and a Deduction Kit, whatever works for the situation. We have 1 Counter Gain in here to help us set up our second Hydreigon, but our first Hydreigon, we want to try to make it as big and as impactful as possible. So I play a Hero's Cape, so we can increase our Hydreigon EX's HP from 330 to 430 HP, making it quite a bit harder to 1-hit KO and potentially not even be able to be 2-hit KO'd. And then for the energy count, we have 4 Metal, 4 Dark, and 4 Psychic. 1 card in here to further help the tankiness of our first Hydreigon would be some kind of healing cards, Super Potion, Picnic Basket, Potion, Pokemon Center Lady. There is that Jumbo Ice Cream card coming out eventually, which I think would be really, really good in this deck, or just Hydreigon decks in general. That would be something to consider worth trying to include in here. Another thing that I did try with this deck initially was Crispins, but after playing some games with the deck, I realized we don't really need Crispin to get the first Hydreigon set up and going. And then even if we go into a second Hydreigon, we can usually close it out with Crashing Headbutts. So yeah, I don't think we need Crispin for extra energy acceleration. And a lot of times, honestly, because we are choosing first, our Cinderace doesn't get KO'd on our opponent's second turn of the game. And we can like Turbo Flare once to set up 1 Hydreigon, then we start attacking with that with Obsidian. If our opponent deals with that Hydreigon, we could then sometimes still push up the Cinderace, pull off another Grimsley, and set up a second Hydreigon through the Cinderace at that point. And the really cool thing about how this deck plays out in terms of what our opponent has access to KO, we usually end up with 2 Hydreigons. At max, we end up with 2 Hydreigons, a Fez, and a Cinderace. And that's only effectively 7 prize cards on board. So they don't really have any other prize map besides going through everything or KOing Fez plus 2 Hydreigon and ignoring the Cinderace. So it actually ends up in really inconvenient prize trade options for our opponent, which is actually pretty cool. But that's it. That's the deck. Let's jump into some action and I'll show y'all how it runs. Okay, I wasn't sure what it did. And I was like, wait, hold on a second. I was like, wait, hold on. Something's fishy here. No! Actually, it's not even that big of a deal. We're fine. Isn't the rules that you're not allowed to queue a deck without a basic? Yeah, you have to play a basic Pokemon. Oh, no! No! Come on! Grimsley! All right, it's okay. I can top deck Grimsley. Where's my Grimsley? Oh, dude. Like, we're against Guardy, too. If we get set up, bro. Grimsley. Honestly, winnable. There's a Grimsley on the bottom of the deck. Okay. I think we do this. I'll just take one energy and then Deduction Kit. Seems fine. Oh, wait, what does this do? Pass. Is there any other cards we could play to increase our odds of finding Grimsley? Like, we could play Call Bell, but we can't use it. We want to choose first anyways, and we're gonna go second metagame, so my opponent's gonna be choosing second against me anyways. Is there anything else besides Call Bell that we could play? Why don't you put Roto-Stick on top? Drop Roto-Stick 1, 2, 3, 4. Because he's the same. Oh no, I guess it would see +2 cards, right? Yeah, I guess I'm wrong. Yeah, I guess putting Roto-Stick on top was draw Roto-Stick and then it sees one more card, I guess. Boxed Order? What does Boxed Order do? Wait, how do I just not get a supporter there? Are you kidding me? We can play Tatsu instead of Fez. So you Cinderace to set up Tatsu and then Tatsu to try and get the... Find 2 items and end turn. Oh, that's a card? Are we passing? Oh, I could have attacked on the last turn, I guess. Loaded. Let's go. They got Monkey. Oh, good point. Yeah, attacking is like basically pointless. So you need to play in all Blitzle's Mega Mickey. He can't get away with winning his own tourneys. Bro, that's on you guys, bro. What the fuck are you guys doing and letting him win his own Mega Mickeys? Oh, you... Oh, the Switch, though? Don't mind if I do. We got the mobility on deck. Dude, you rat. Gosh darn it. We can get Oh, they have to move the active though. What the heck? Just light up the whole squad. I still have my Switch as well. Wait. I just go Arven for Switch. I go KO this double Ralts again. No, stop, bro. What the heck? I guess I can just hard retreat and then Cinderace to reload it up, right? Something like that. I probably just go for the flip here, though, right? I probably just go for the flip to knock out the only Ralts in play. Maybe not, though. Maybe I can take the turn off. That is actually pretty crazy. They just Iono themselves into the secret box triple psychic. But I did KO all their Ralts, so maybe it's fair. Maybe it's fair. Yeah, let me look at this. What'd you guys call the card again? Search your deck for 2 items. What was the card called again? Boxed Order, yeah. Why'd you kill the monkey instead? Because they could just have Candy Guardian on the following turn. I'm not scared of that. Like, they'll just be able to attack with a different Monkey Dory, basically. This means they definitely can only attack with Monkey Dory. They still don't have a guard for. And if I had drawn into my Switch, I could have spawn trapped the Ralts again. Box Order for double gear. I mean, that might be the mood, to be honest. All right, this is interesting now. So I go for the flip. Or do I hard retreat and then just load it up again? If heads, that's GG. Pretty much, right? I kind of want to go for the flip. It'd be really bad if we whiff, though. It'd be really bad if we get tails here. Okay, we're chilling. We're doing all right. I sense a concede. I mean, like, technically it's still winnable for them. Dude, there's the Iono to 1. Like, I am still confused. Like, I could get tails. Switch? No switch. Now I will probably hard retreat, though. Oh, true. I could have gone Cinderace knockout. Very true, very true. Oh, no! No energy! Wait, I have 2 turns to top deck it, though, right? Because I'm going first? Yeah, I have 2 turns to top deck an energy. Okay. Oh, I can even Deduction Kit to try and set myself up for the energy as well. Okay. Shuffle the revealed cards and put them on... No. Top. So top deck this. Then this, right? Sure. And I should just immediately commit to the Grimsley, right? Like, I shouldn't shuffle to hope for a Hydreigon to increase my odds of Hydreigon. I should be content with a Zweilous, probably. Excuse me. Not the best research ever. Candy Curlia Super Rod discarded. Okay, no Ralts. No danger. Yeah, I'm just gonna be content. Not gonna get greedy. Tera Orb in here. Tera Orb's here. Hero's Cape. Oh, I should have put a dark. I'm an idiot, bro. Jesus, man. Are you... That's really bad. Oh, goodness. Now I have to specifically... I didn't put a dark because I was like, oh, I have the least amount of darks in my deck, so I should, like, not take a dark energy here. But I have to go for a 1-1-1 split. Okay. Shout out my opponent, bro. Let's go. Ooh. Ooh. All right. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. Very nice lineup here. What went to the bottom there? The only card that I want here is Switch. There's an Arven and a Pokégear on the bottom of the deck. So I think I like Ultra Ball. Oh, I guess I was always shuffling the deck here though, right? Yeah. Because if I just pull off a Switch here, I should just win. It should just be Obsidian, Switch Obsidian, the game's over. Now I just have it in hand. Shoot, is this guy gonna get stuck? He might get a little stuck. Don't get stuck, buddy. I switch in there, it is. So I can just switch into Cinderace and reset up this guy. And then there's no way I lose with 2 Hydreigons online. Like, come on. Come on, what are we doing, man? Are we being serious right now? He's 27 months there, Sweeney. I feel like this, honestly, this count of energy feels like pretty comfortable. Why do we need Switch? Because we're about to get mind bended, or this is gonna get counter catchered. One of those two things is happening. Oh yeah, true. I take 4 next turn. Yeah, never mind. I just attack and win. Good point. Azul, have you thought about winning the game, you bingus? My bad, my bad. You're right, chat. Find out this way. Rebecca loves company. 3 makes it a crowd. It's all right. We Iono into the Switch. We did not Iono into the Switch. Interesting. I mean, getting tails here would be... What if I just retreated? What if I just retreated? How bad could that be? To just retreat here. Attach flip. Just flip. Dude, you guys are... All right, fine. I'm making it clear this is for the content, though. I think it is correct to probably hard retreat. Oh, it's okay, though. We always get it. We always get it. But I want to make it... I want it to be known. I think retreating there is probably the correct play. Oh, mate, we had 2 of them prized too? What the heck?